One more question. We've been having these interactions over a period of time. I want to make sure that I'm making the best and most of them, because sometimes I find myself thinking, well, why do I have to wait and go to Abraham to ask that question?
You don't.
I don't.
You don't, but you are a teacher. There are a number of things that happen here in this exchange. These are the things that we like most about it. You be real. In other words, you're not pretending that you feel one thing when you are feeling another, and that matters in calibration. If you can't feel where you are, you won't feel the improvement. And so sometimes people, they want to make an impression, or they're wanting to sell a product, but when we have a conversation with you, you are wanting to understand why this feels like this and what to do about it. And in part, Esther has attracted you through her appreciation of Jerry's questions, because he was like that too. He was real in his questions. He was always living life and looking at what was happening. This is what Einstein did too. Einstein looked at the laws as they had been so far proven to be, and then got out into the world where he lived some real life, and then noticed something that made him ask a question. So when he would ask that question, then he would apply that question against all the known answers. And if it fit with all the known answers, then this is just another piece of evidence that supports this basic theory that we have. He was a theorist more than he was a physicist. In other words, he was an observer of life and a wanter to understand how it all fits together. You were born with that same kind of intensity, you see. You want to understand how this works. And so when something that you think you've got suddenly shows up in a way and it doesn't fit, you want to know why it doesn't fit and what will make it fit. And you know, even with Einstein, often with Einstein, it didn't fit. The worldview had to give way to the new theory, because the old ideas were not big enough to accommodate the next question. It's always going to be that way, you see. So you came for the deliciousness of that. You don't ever plan on getting it calibrated to perfection. You are a calibrator. You are a molder. You've got your hands in the clay. You like to define a new question, and the bigger and badder the question is, or the problem is, then the more delicious it is as you calibrate yourself into alignment with the solution. And what this conversation is bringing forth for everyone to feel in a really real way is that all this stuff that you think that you don't want, that you are calibrating to, is creating the vortex for future generations and for you yourself. In other words, this is exactly what you knew would happen, because you are an eternal being, and you know that you never get it done, and that you can't get it wrong, and that you never get it done, and that you can't get it wrong. So we want you to become at one with and savoring and enjoying your ability to calibrate. We want you to feel the deliciousness of calibrating to the desire, and in doing so away from the absence of it, to calibrate to the solution, and in doing so away from the problem of it, to calibrate to the answers, because the problem and the question, that's old news. The new news is over here. You want to calibrate this way. And so we've explained that to you by saying, to all of you over time, by saying things to you like, follow your bliss. That's the way you know. But that's not meaty enough for most people, because most people have been so manipulated by those around them who need them to perform in certain ways in order for them to feel good. And it does feel good when you please other people. And so you have calibrated yourself to what others need and want from you, others who are broken, others who want sacrifice from you. Your inner being never wants sacrifice from you. There's nothing for you to give up in order to receive. You are worthy, you see. Really good time for a segment of refreshment.